Whoa, that is the wrong camera. There we go. There we go. There we go. It had the wrong camera. It was facing the wrong way. It is facing the right way now. Or maybe some might think it's facing the wrong way now. How's everybody doing? Oh, let me turn this thing off before I get into trouble. How's everybody doing? It is 10 p.m., a minute past 10 p.m. It is, I don't even know what day it is. It's Saturday. Saturday, 2nd of July. And I figured I'd do impromptu live stream. I'm in Ilford. I just went to a place called Big Mama's. And I got, it's wrapped up so you can't see it. But I got a beef sausage, chips, and this kiwi and apple. Yo, little Jacob, what's cracking? Well, crack is cracking. How you doing, man? Let me make sure I can see all this stuff properly. But how you doing? Appreciate you coming through on this impromptu live stream. Sometimes the chat goes too quickly, so I gotta make sure I could see out my other thing. But yeah, just figured I'll come on chat for a little bit, you know, while I'm eating. This is what I really want to try though. Kiwi and apple. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've tried kiwi and apple before. I think so. It sounds like something that I would have tried before. But I don't know. Maybe I haven't. But it looked interesting. It was £1 extra to get the kiwi and apple. I thought, you know what? I'll pay £1 extra. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'll try this a little bit. I enjoy the sun weather. You know what? We've had a little bit of sun over here. It weren't too sunny. Actually, no, there was some sun today. There was some sun today. And yeah, it's always nice when it's sunny. I prefer the sun to when it's cold. Definitely prefer the sun. It can get real hot though. Like, it hasn't been too bad. Like, I feel like heat right now. The heat, well, heat as was earlier was pretty okay. It's kind of a nice heat. So yeah. Is this an impromptu food review? It could be. I mean, I'm just having a chip so far. Ain't too bad. I mean, chips are chips. They're a little bit dry. I probably should put some salt or some sauces on them or something. Well, they're okay. I've still got the beef sausage to go. The beef sausage roll that they made for me that I got. So I still got that. And I still got this. I'll let you know what I think. It's gonna ramble for a little bit. So, have you guys heard about Lizzo and the whole thing about changing her song lyrics because somebody, well, not just somebody, but I guess some people were offended by her song lyrics or a song lyric? I'm in the southeast. It's pretty cool weather wise in these parts. So okay, yeah, southeast, yeah. Right, it's night time right now. So right now it's kind of cold. But it's okay earlier. I had to have the AC on in the car. I'm not going to drink this just yet. I'm going to save that a little bit later. Just going to take a sip of my regular water for now. That's not really regular water. It's actually like water with honey and lemon in there. It's good for like sore throats and stuff. Alan Evans! I haven't heard about this is a controversy. Okay, well, here's what happened. To the best of my knowledge, she put out a song. Lizzo put out a song called "Girls," and the original lyrics were something like, I think it was like, "Hold my bag, I'm a spaz," right? Now, in America, when you say I'm a spaz, you mean I'm going to, get wild, I'm going to go crazy, I'm going to, just let loose, have fun. That's what it kind of means, that kind of thing, right? I mean, it has kind of different meanings depending on how you use it, but that's kind of the gist of what it means when you say I'm a spaz. You mean like I'm just going to kind of let loose, I'm going to just, whatever. And I'm going to get on the dance floor and just let loose and have fun, that sort of thing, right? But as you're in the southeast of London, and Alan being in Peterborough, then you might know that we have a different definition for that word, which isn't so polite, isn't maybe so positive, right? So yeah, people let her know that that word is offensive to people in the disabled community, and she took that feedback and ended up changing the lyrics. So now the song is things like hold me down, hold my bag, something like that anyway. But yeah, lyrics are changed. And I found that fascinating. I don't know about y'all, but I found that fascinating because to my mind and to my knowledge, I think this could be the first time. I mean, it might not be, I don't know, but to my knowledge at least, it could be the first time that an artist changed their lyrics because people were offended by it, or because a group of people were offended by it. Because artists change their songs all the time. They do different versions, all the time. That happens. That's regular, right? But that's because they want to change it, right? This is the first time an artist changed their song because other people wanted them to change it. Round on Spaz, right? Exactly. It's a bit different over here. Yeah, it's a bit different over here. So like, I mean, on her part, she wasn't trying to offend anybody, right? I mean, I think people generally understand that she wasn't trying to, insult anybody or cause any harm or anything. It's just how we use words differently in different parts of the world. What it means over in America and what it means over here is completely different. So it's just one of these examples where I'm sure there's words over here that are completely innocent, but over in other parts of the world could be really offensive. It's kind of how it goes. So it wasn't a deliberate thing on her part. But yeah, I just find it fascinating that this happened because it's like, on one hand, I mean, good for her, right? I mean, it's kind of her brand. It's her whole thing of what she's about. I suppose it's a brief, yeah, right, yeah, for actually, let me not say it just in case. I'm not, yeah, I'm not an abbreviation. I don't know what it's an abbreviation of, but might be best I don't say it right now. But yeah, I mean, good for her. That's kind of her brand. It's kind of like the whole thing she's about being inclusive and that sort of thing, right? But then it's like, what does this mean for music, or what does it mean for her music? Because I'm pretty sure not all artists are going to change their lyrics because somebody's offended by it. I'm not sure. Not everyone's going to do that. But once you've once you kind of set that precedent that you will do that you will change your lyrics because somebody's offended, the question then becomes like, where do you draw the line? Don't say it, bro. Yeah, exactly. It might be best I don't say that just yet. I'll turn the camera off first and I say it. But yeah, the question is like, where do you draw the line? Because like, for me, like when I think about being creative and writing and things like that, one of the things I think about is that I don't necessarily want to offend people, right? But at the same time, I didn't have to write it. Yeah. which is not a nice thing to say. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, when you're trying to say something, and if you feel like you're having a message or a particular feeling or a particular experience that you're trying to create, you kind of have to accept the fact that somebody somewhere might be offended by the things you say, even though that's not what you intend, right? It's just kind of how it is with things. Like when you're trying to create something, there's almost always gonna be somebody that doesn't like it for some reason, and you just kind of have to accept that if you're trying to be genuine and authentic to your art. Now, in a case like this, where it's a word that perhaps didn't really hold much weight in terms of the whole song, right? And perhaps Lizzo's thinking to herself, you know what? I can change this one word and the rest of the song is still pretty much the same. I'm still saying what I want to say. I'm still giving the same message I want to give. I'm still creating the same experience I want to create. And that's all fine in this case because the words didn't have that much weight for the song. But what happens when it's a word that does have more weight for the song? What happens if it's a word where it's like changing that word now changes the entire meaning of the whole song? You know what I mean? So it's like, on one hand, it's like, I get why she did it. Good for her. I mean, like it's her thing. But what does this mean for potentially people being offended by things in their music going forward? And yeah, I did hear about R. Kelly. Another definition is your accent crazy. Right, yeah. So it could be used in like various kind of ways, but generally kind of like cutting loose. In a slang sense, at least, like kind of cutting loose and getting a bit wild, that sort of thing. What up, Sam? But yeah, R. Kelly got 30 years. Yeah, I did hear about that. Man, I bet he wishes he could fly now. Might need to fly out of that prison. But I think they got a roof. So, this is it. This is the beef sausage roll. I'm going to try to show it to you without making a mess in my car. So, that's the beef sausage roll. There you go. The chips were okay. Let's see what this is hitting on now. Yeah. Well, let's get some thumbs up. I think the bread might be a little bit thick, but apart from that, yeah, I like it. I like it. It possibly could be starting a bad precedent going forward when it comes to freedom of speech. Right, exactly. It's like, because there's certain things you can change, right, that maybe don't matter as much to what you're trying to do. You can like maybe change that bit, and you're still doing what you want to do, and those are fine. But it's like, yeah, at some point, I feel like, I mean, look, I don't want to speak for Lizzo, other than she's a grown woman, she can do what she wants, but I kind of feel like you kind of have to draw a line somewhere, because what you don't want to do, or at least I hope, or at least like what I imagine she doesn't want to do, is find herself in a position where people are just coming at her like, oh, I'm offended by this, I'm offended by that, I'm offended by this, I'm offended by that. And then she's trying to change all these bits because people are offended by it. And then by the time you get to the changed everything, you've just completely lost any kind of meaning to what you're trying to do. So there has to be a line drawn somewhere where it's like, look, you can only change so much before you have to before you have to just accept the fact that somebody's going to be pissed off. Like, you can't please everybody. Like, a friend of mine has a saying. She says, if you try to be everything to everyone, you'll be nothing to no one, right? So if you're trying to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody, because it's just not possible. So yeah, there has to be a line drawn somewhere where it's like, look, you're just gonna have to piss people off. You're just gonna have to piss people off. either that or you completely lose any kind of authenticity to your own artwork, any kind of integrity, any kind of meaning, feeling. It just goes when you're constantly trying to change everything to suit somebody else's sensibilities. So hey, good luck to her. But hey, hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully it does not come to that. I like Lizzo's music. She's a good singer, and she seems like a cool person. So I really hope it does not come to that. But boy, the way this world is. Roast dinner, nice. I was like earlier about the word spaz given its meaning, and I have a kid who's technically classed as disabled. They didn't expect my answer. Ooh, what was the answer, pray tell? I can see Eminem changing his lyrics to suit everybody. I think I don't think he has, but he did. I think he did once issue an apology actually for one of his song lyrics. And the weird thing was actually is that it wasn't even the words that he said. It was for words that he bleeped out. Like he actually purposefully edit like on the original recording, on the original release of the song, the word itself is actually censored out, right? So you don't actually hear him say the word. There's no version of the song where he says that word. It's like it was always censored out. But even though he censored out the word, right, there was still some backlash for it. And eventually he did say something like, I think it's just some kind of apology of like, he shouldn't have used the word even though it was censored. So, something along those lines. I mean, suppose I don't follow the story that closely, but yeah, I think he did issue an apology for words he didn't technically use once. So I don't know. Maybe one day Eminem be changing his lyrics as well. You never know. You never know. But yeah, I think there's certain artists where it's like it'd be very much out of their image, their kind of brand that they present. If they did change their lyrics because somebody was offended, for that reason, I think it'd be very much outside of what they kind of represent. Then I think there's artists that, like Lizzo, is very much within that kind of thing that she presents, because she talks a lot about, acceptance and inclusivity and that sort of thing. So it's like for her to change the lyrics because people were offended, that fits within what she's about. The question then becomes, I mean, like I say, it's her soul. She can do what she wants with it. I'm trying to say that, but I think the question then potentially becomes like, where does that line draw? Where's that line drawn? Because at what point do you have to say, I cannot change anymore, and I'm just gonna have to live with the fact that people don't like it? There has to be that line drawn somewhere, otherwise your art loses all meaning. I don't give a crap. I personally think any word can be offensive depending on how you use it. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, use it if it's not used aggressively. I generally don't care. If people feel offended by song lyrics, then don't listen to it. I mean, yes and no. After that, I think there's levels when it comes to that sort of thing. Like, generally speaking, I'd say that yeah, you probably shouldn't listen to stuff if you're upset by it, and especially when it's an artist that is pretty much about that sort of thing. But yeah, I feel like this is various kind of degrees to what it is. What's the word? What are you offended by? Who is saying it? What is that person about? You know what I mean? I think in Lizzo's case, it makes sense that somebody would be like, hey, you might want to check this out. But yeah, and maybe someone like Eminem or you know what I mean, something like that. It's like, nah, dude, just stop listening to it. Like there's a point where it's like he's put out way too many songs that are probably far worse than the thing that you're offended by to be trying to get him to change his lip. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think there's certain artists where it's probably, yeah, you just don't listen to it. But I think in Lizzo's case, yeah, it's a little bit different just because of what she's about. But yeah, I think with the word, the S word, I'm not gonna say it anymore because I ain't trying to get cancelled just yet. Maybe next week, we'll see. But yeah, I feel like, I mean, in my experience anyway, and speaking as a non-disabled person, but in my experience, I feel like a lot of people in Britain, including disabled people, generally are not offended by that word. You know, that's how it seems to me anyway. It seems a lot of people, because it's used so frequently, and I don't know, it seems to be less about disabled people when it's being used as well. You know, like when people say it as a derogatory term, it's less about being disabled and maybe more about not being in control of your own thoughts too well. But yeah, I feel like in my experience, a lot of disabled people generally aren't offended by it. I mean, clearly there are people who are, right? And that's their right. But I don't know, man. I feel like in Britain, we're not offended by very much as a general, very generalized thing. Where I feel there's very few things that actually offend us in this country. But yeah. I personally don't like the R word, but I'm not upset when people say it. I don't expect people to change just because I don't like it. I might have used that word a few times actually. I might have dropped that word a few times in a few inappropriate circumstances. Pretty good news. Haze gets cancelled. Yeah. I'll probably get cancelled for something I did 10 years ago. Was I on Twitter? Actually, I don't know. I don't think I was on Twitter 10 years ago. Was I on Twitter 10 years ago? I might have been actually. Yeah, I might have been on Twitter 10 years ago. I don't know. Yeah, so I'll probably get something I cancelled for something I've tweeted 10 years ago. I don't know if anybody wants to dig through 10 years of my tweets though, but you're welcome to. If you're a bit who's easily offended, you're best moving. I mean, I was actually quite surprised when I heard that people were offended by that word because like I mean I knew in America that word, how it's used in Americans. I mean, you know, you listen to American music, you watch American movies, you hear that word being used in a different way. So I feel like I knew. I'd imagine most people probably, if you listen to American music, and you probably know that it means something different over there, right? So when I heard that that was the word that caused the issue, I was surprised because although I knew, yeah, we use it differently over here, and we use it a bit more derogatory over here, it's just the fact that there were enough people in Britain who were offended by it for Lizzo to be like, all right, I'm gonna change that. That was odd to me, that the fact that British people were offended by something and complained about. I mean, to be fair, Britons, we might not get offended a lot, but we do complain a lot. So I guess to be fair, it does kind of fit in actually. We do like to complain. I think we are a nation of complainers. Actually, that's a bit unfair. That's a bit unfair. We're not a nation of complainers, but yeah, I think there are definitely a lot of people who like to complain. Maybe not a nation, but a significant portion of the nation like to complain. Oh, Now that was a tasty burger. Although it wasn't a burger. More of a hot dog. They call it a sausage roll. It's really more of a hot dog though. Not that it makes a massive difference, but hey. Elliot, you said all word plain card. It doesn't bother me. I love the C word, but loads hate it. I wouldn't stop saying it to please people apart from my mum because she scares me. Even till this day. Alright, this is the piece de la resistance. This is kiwi and apple flavored soft drink. 411. 411 is information in America, by the way. It's quite nice actually. Bit on the fizzy side, but I don't think it was gonna be fizzy. Well, it is. I don't mind fizzy, but I thought it was gonna be flat. I definitely prefer non-fizzy drinks to fizzy drinks, just because of the the carbonated stuff, and it like gets you all burpy and whatever. But I like the bubbles; they're nice. That is a nice drink. See, there you go, first burp already. I thought it was a bottle of Wicked. Oh no, sorry. If you're drinking, don't drive, and if you're driving, don't drink. Although technically I am drinking. Actually, cold people I like. I see word for me. It's a 7. Oh, you can't, you silly, you can't. Yeah, okay. I feel like that's a thing from let me turn this light off actually real quick. That's a thing like I remember like being in like a secondary school, and like with sort of your group of friends where you just like cuss each other just because, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't meant to mean anything bad or whatever. You just it's just for fun. Like you'll cuss each other for fun. Like, you cuss each other's mums, you cuss each other's family, your whatever, their shoes. You know what I mean? And we'll say like the wildest things to each other, and it was all just fun, And I think it's because like, you had that kind of understanding, right? You had that kind of understanding that it was jokes, that nobody's trying to be malicious. But that's with your friends, right? It's with your friends. Like if somebody just came along and started talking smack about your parents, it's like, nah. Nah, like, listen, yeah. The words your mum, yeah, started so many fights. Ooh, excuse me. This is why I don't like fizzy drinks too much. The words your mum, the amount of fights those two words started. Not even your mum da 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 da, or something your mum. No, just your mum. Just those two words, yeah. They started the most amount of fights. And when you consider like that would start a fight, but when you start cussing your friend's mum out for like, I don't know, who say stuff like I saw your mum kicking a dustbin the other day. I'd asked her what she was doing. She said, I'm moving house. We used to say stuff like that. That was fine. That was fine, but you was like, your mum, and oh, it is on. It was on. I don't drive, so I can drink as much as I like. Well, be careful with that liver. I saw people arguing over their face. Nonce 1 got 20 years and Nonce 2 got 30. Yeah, I'm like, dudes, they both should. Got life, who cares? Yeah, I heard Kelly got 30 years. I don't know who got 20. Nonce 1 got 20 years apparently. Oh wait, was it Gazzelli, was it Maxwell Gazelle or something? The one, yeah. I think actually no, I think I did hear about that. Yeah, I think I did hear about that. Yeah. I mean, the justice system. It's never it doesn't seem to be very consistent in how it hands out punishments, and at this point, it's kind of like you can't really be surprised that somebody gets this sentence, somebody gets that sentence. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, look, they both should have got life. I mean, Kelly's what, 50 something, right? So 30 years, I guess that's almost like a life sentence, potentially, you know, potentially. I don't know how healthy he is, but you can call your friends a C word. They're friends for life. Bad boys for life. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't go nowhere. But yeah, it's like that's okay. I simply do not care. Yeah, there's too many uh just horrible things that happen as well. It's like I guess wedding DJs are gonna have a hard time from now on though. Like actually a while back picked up one of my passengers was a DJ, and which was in the car. She was like playing her music on her phone, and some R. Kelly songs was playing, and she's kind of vibing out to it. And I was asking her, "What do you play R. Kelly at your on your sets?" And she was like, "Nope." Like, nope. Yeah, no, 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 no. You know what the thing is though, is like because what that sort of thing represents. I mean, not to single her out because then I don't know her, but I feel like there are people who would still on the low listen to his music, still vibe out to his music. But yeah, you just won't. They just won't play it, do it publicly. You know what I mean? And what that potentially means is that let's say he does his 30 years and he comes out as an 80-year-old man, there could be a lot of money waiting for him. There could be a lot of money waiting for him, which I mean, look, the world's not fair. The world's not fair. It just is what it is. I know people still listen to Lost Prophets. Lost Prophets, oh shit. I remember those guys. Yeah, I remember those guys. Damn. My little brother was a fan of those actually. Well, I don't know if it was not I don't think he was a big fan, but yeah, I remember he had one of their albums and he was pretty into it. But yeah, oof. It was like the lead singer, wasn't it? Not it wasn't a whole band, I don't think. It was just the lead singer that was doing some nonsense. But yeah, that I think he went to prison or something, and the rest of the band, I guess they just did their own thing or had to distance themselves from that guy as much as possible. But that's I guess that's always going to be one of these questions, though, isn't it? Is that can you appreciate art even though the artist is a horrible person? Can you still appreciate the art? can you still enjoy the art? Because the art itself could have a really powerful, positive message and that whole thing, right? Even though the person creating that art was maybe the opposite and just doing like the most horrible, disgusting things. So can you still appreciate art and enjoy art if that art was made by somebody who just did some disgustingly horrible things? I feel like it's a question that's always going to get asked when it, especially in circumstances like this, you know, because you hear about, cancel culture and this and the other. It kind of, not quite that. I know when we're talking about, Kelly and them men, but it's not quite cancel culture, but it's a similar sort of thing about at what point does a person's behavior become so bad that their art, no matter how good their art is, just can hold no meaning to you, even if it's the best thing ever, the most positive, all that sort of stuff. It could just hold no meaning to you. And I guess it varies from one artist to another artist and from one crime to another crime, right? It's going to fall in different places, and it could depend on the individuals and what that artist meant to you, and at a time, because art could be very personal, right? Where when you hear a song that speaks to you on such a deep level, it's often because it came to you at a time that you needed to hear it the most, and that's something that you can't just forget, right? So yeah, it could depend on so many things. It could depend on so many factors. I think it's always going to be like a personal thing. Like, yeah, I still listen to I mentioned, but I can never listen to Lost Prophets, which is unfortunate for the other band members. Other band members, I think they went on to do other stuff, right? I think they're still, I'm sure that some of them, or the rest of them, formed another band or something like that. I mean, don't know what that band is called, or if that band is still around, but yeah. Yes, it means that whatever royalties from their Lost Prophet days. But that's another thing to consider as well, because like for example, with Bill Cosby, when he got convicted, so many places, like so many TV stations, stopped airing the Cosby Show because of it, right? And that meant that people's royalty checks weren't coming in no more. You get tired of that Bush though. Oof, yeah, no, for sure, for sure. I think, yeah. It's a name they'd rather forget, but hey, I don't know if they even want the money from that thing anymore, but hey, maybe. Different folks, different strokes. But yeah, some of these TV stations stopped showing the Cosby Show because that show was being like repeated for years after it ended. So then royalty checks for like all the cast members were coming in, and that was big money for them. But when he got convicted and they stopped showing it, like them royalty checks just stopped. And the thing is, it's like they did that because of Bill Cosby's conviction, right? But that same action affected other cast members. Their money started drying up. In fact, one of them ended up having to get a regular job. Like the one who played Alvin. I can't remember his name. I think it was Elvin or Alvin. But yeah, one of the cast members, he ended up having to get a regular job. Like he got a job in in Target. And people clown them for it. By the way, no shame in working. I mean, if you do what you got to do to feed your family, there's no shame in that. But, that's what he had to do because his money dried up. It was like you do this one thing to punish somebody, but that action doesn't just punish that one person. It punishes other people involved with that who had nothing to do with this thing that you're trying to punish them for. So it's like, is boycotting really the best answer? Because it effectively means that everybody loses, everybody involved loses out when you're trying to just affect this one person. Now everyone else gotta gotta worry about paying their bills. I think because it's such a wide effect, I believe information should be let out till we know they are guilty. Trial by public. Was it court? Was it trial by public court? You know, trial by Twitter. It don't matter what the court says. It matters what Twitter says. That's what really matters. It matters what Twitter says. If Twitter thinks you're guilty, you is guilty. But yeah, it's not. I mean, I think there's definitely something to be said about how much the public should know about something before a case is closed. But then I guess some things could probably fall under public interests, and I don't know. Ask Jordan Peterson. Didn't he, like, I saw something on Twitter about him actually. Apparently there's an audio clip of, I didn't listen to it because I was like, I don't think so. But apparently there's an audio clip going around of him where he's talking about his grandmother rubbing her vagina hairs on his face. Like, I saw something. I mean, it could have been a joke, but the way it was tweeted, it looked like it was serious. And I'm kind of like, I don't think I need to hear that. I don't think I need to hear that. I don't think I need to hear that. It is, well. Case between Heard and Depp, and understand why that case was televised. I mean, they're two famous people. Oh, Depp's famous at least. I mean, Heard, I guess, is semi-famous. But yeah, they're two celebrities, you know. People are interested. And everybody's talking about it. Now, should it have been televised? I don't know. I don't know. Was that really the best thing to do? I don't know. I don't know. But I get it. I mean, yeah, people are interested. People are, you know, it's like gossip. You know, people like to gossip. I mean, let's be honest. We all like to sip the tea from time to time. We all like sipping on the tea from time to time. So, I ain't gonna lie. Like I never look at the gossip blogs. I mean, I will say I generally, as a general rule, I don't. But yeah, from time to time, once in a while, I might sip a little tea. Twitter like Jordan because he speaks. Oh, that's okay. Cool. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, oh, mate. Ugh. Yeah, it's definitely a few well, probably more than a few anti-Peterson Twitter posters, methinks. News channels were streaming it live, and there was people donating to a news channel. I'm thinking, why? Well, why they're donating, or why they're streaming? Might depend on the news channel. I mean, not all news channels are, you know, sort of big outlets, you know, so they might need the donations to kind of help run it. I mean, if it's like CNN or BBC, then yeah, probably don't need to be donated to those guys. But you know, if it's like a smaller news network, then that could be why you're kicking a few bucks over to kind of help them out. I think the definite Amber one is different because in the beginning, most believes Amber watching at trial saw her in a different light. My dog stepped on the beat. I don't watch the trial, but I saw a few, thing clips and stuff, I guess. That was a nice drink. I think I'd have preferred it if it wasn't fizzy. But aside from that, I mean, the fizziness doesn't ruin it, by the way. But just as a personal preference, I think I prefer if it wasn't fizzy. But yeah, it was a pretty nice drink. I like that. I quite like that. That was the Kiwi and Apple 411. Wait. Team JP all the way. Do I agree with everything? No, but I respect the shit out of him. He's an interesting fella. I've heard a few of his speeches and some of his quotes and stuff, and I think like he's a very intelligent person, very knowledgeable person. That of course doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be right all the time, and I do think that I think anytime you have somebody who is kind of very intellectual, it's good to listen to them because they can offer insights to things that most of us either don't think about or don't think about in a particular way, and that can help us to kind of navigate our own lives a little bit. That being said, like I say, just because somebody is very intelligent and very knowledgeable, that doesn't mean they're going to be right all the time. It doesn't mean they're going to be, that they know everything. And it certainly doesn't mean that you should just follow everything they say blindly without giving it any kind of thought yourself. But yeah, no, I think he's an intelligent, knowledgeable person, and there's very few people, because I feel like when it comes to adults, most adults are knowledgeable. Some of us are intelligent, but very few of us are both knowledgeable and intelligent. So what I mean by that is knowledge. And by the way, I realize I'm kind of getting into just specific definitions and meanings and whatever, but when I say knowledge, what I mean is the things right? Like the individual things that is knowledge. 1 + 1 is 2. This is black. It's 10:49 p.m. GMT. These are the things that These the pieces of information that that's your knowledge. And most of us, I think most adults have a good amount of knowledge because we've lived a while, we've been to school, we've watched TV, we've done all these things, so we have knowledge because we know things, right? But there's a difference between knowing things and applying things, and applying what you know. And intelligence is about the application of knowledge. And a lot of adults, I feel, at least in my walking through the world experience, like I say, we when it comes to application of knowledge, we pretty much just do the same things as most other people. We kind of live a very kind of set out for us life without really giving much thought as to what we're doing, how we're doing it, and how it actually benefits us. Children, on the other hand, are usually very different. Children, on the other hand, are usually like very intelligent, very, very intelligent, but children don't have knowledge, right? They have this high amount of intelligence, and that's why they're so inquisitive and and always trying to, and when you give them something and they'll come up with something completely that just blows your mind sometimes. And even though in your it's maybe not the right thing, or it might not necessarily work, but just the fact that they thought such a very different way that anybody would could imagine. It's like that's the intelligence coming through, but the knowledge isn't there. Then as we get older, we tend to lose that intelligence because we get so kind of ingrained in society and what society kind of wants us to be, and from school to work, and and that sort of thing. So we kind of lose our intelligence because we don't apply things as much as we should. But we gain knowledge because we're learning stuff, but we're losing intelligence. So by the time we get to adulthood, we're knowledgeable, but we don't have intelligence. So I feel like there's very few adults that are both intelligent and knowledgeable. And in my opinion, Jordan Peterson is both intelligent and knowledgeable. Now, again, that don't mean he's going to get everything right. But yeah, it does. I do think that people like that should be listened to, because it does help to think about things differently and to think about how you apply the things that and not necessarily to do what he says to do, because again, he's not going to have all the answers, but it can help you. I feel like it can help you to kind of think a lot of different ways that you might not normally be thinking, and be like, okay, I could see things a bit differently now that I might not have seen had I not had that, kind of click of points in that direction of how you can do things. So yeah. Is everyone right all the time? It's ignorant to think you are. Indeed. And hey, even a stopped clock is right twice a day. Just because you stupid don't mean you can't be right, and just because you smart don't mean you can't be wrong. But yeah, I mean, I feel like when it comes to Jordan Peterson, or just anybody really, when you see people on the internet when they're constantly trying to tear them down, and they're constantly trying to find flaws in the things that they're saying, it's like, bruh, come on, man. It's like you could use your energy to do something else. You know what I mean? You can use that energy to do something else. Like, if somebody is wrong about something, okay, they're wrong. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to dedicate, your whole bloody Twitter feed to pointing out that somebody else got something wrong. Like, so, you got it wrong. You got it wrong. If you know that he's wrong, do the right thing. It's that simple. Yeah, so she has learning disabilities, but she is actually very smart. She has issues with speech, but can use long words instead of a simple one. Her memory is amazing, and she is skilled with numbers, and she constantly asks questions. I'm just saying, though, have you seen Rain Man? You might want to take her to Las Vegas. Yeah, I'm just saying. Just don't tell nobody you're counting cards. Just don't tell nobody you're counting cards. Just like, yeah. If anybody asks what you're doing, no, we're just having some fun. Yeah. Yeah, when people say learning disabilities, and perhaps this is my ignorance coming through, but I feel like the phrase learning disabilities is not quite accurate. And the reason why I say that is because we all learn in different ways, right? Like something, like, when someone explains something to you and you don't quite understand it, but then they maybe show you something else, and now you understand it. So some of us, to say, for example, some of us learn better through visuals, some of us learn better through reading, some of us learn better through listening. We learn in different ways. And I just feel like things like dyslexia, or other sort of learning difficulties or disabilities, that they're just other ways of learning. When it comes down to it, they're just different ways in which we learn things, because, as you said, they're not stupid people. They're just learn in a different way, and they perhaps learn in a way that isn't as common as other ways in which people learn. but it's just a way in which we learn, right? Some people learn this way, some people learn that way. Maybe most people learn in these few ways, but then a few other people learn in other ways. So I feel like it's not really a disability, it's just a way of learning something that is just different than most people. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's actually starting to rain right now. Oosh. It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. So you used to memorize books. She could tell you what it said without ever reading it herself. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Oof, oof, oof. That's awesome, man. Damn. Whole books. Yeah. Da, na, na, na. Na 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 na. Na, na. Have you tried the where you like drop like toothpicks on the floor and then she can count them, but just by looking? Downside, I can't lie to her because she remembers. Well, you're just gonna have to be truthful then, ain't you? Ain't you? You're just gonna have to tell her the truth. I can prepare you for standing on a drawing pin because you never know when it's going to happen. We just step on a drawing pin. Oof. Damn. That be hurting. That be hurting. Yeah, stepping on anything sharp. Oof, damn. Hope your foot's okay. You might want to put like a, I don't know, put like, was it antiseptics? Is that what it's called, antiseptics? Clearly my medical qualifications in the mail, because I know exactly what I'm talking about right now. You need to put the antiseptics on your foot and dip it in chloroform. Chloroform? Chloroform? Put the chloroform on the antiseptics. You'll be fine. Where's my doctorate? Somebody give me my doctorate. Where's my PhD? Clearly, I'm in the wrong profession. I should have been a world famous doctor. Obviously. But yeah, you know what? It is it's about 11 o'clock almost, but minutes to 11, so probably should start wrapping up and heading back home. So yeah, oh yeah, so I should be able to stream tomorrow for movie night. It turns out the filming is not going to be this Monday. It's the following, well, potentially the following Monday, which is 11th of Monday, 11th of July, Monday the 11th of July. So possibly not doing movie night on the 11th of July, but I'll let you guys know a bit nearer to the day once things are a bit more confirmed. But yeah, this Monday, 4th July, should be movie night as normal, going with a big game, Sam Jackson movie. She has maybe she's also when she is she's awesome this week, but if she is having a bad day, then we all do. Oh, that's tough. Well, here's to more good days than bad. But yeah, guys, you have been awesome as always. Appreciate you joining this impromptu live stream from Ilford. If I can even say it right. impromptu live stream from Ilford, as I munched down on some chips and beef sausage, and sipped a little kiwi and apple juice, and then talked about a whole bunch of stuff like cancelling. No, what was it about cancelling? What was it about arts and learning? We talked about stuff. But yeah. Guys, you have been awesome as always. I appreciate you and all that you do. Thank you for keeping me company. Thank you for keeping it lively. The village is strong because you make it strong. We're only going to get stronger. So until whenever, if ever, peace.